Hi friends, today is Freebie Friday and we are going to learn how to do the stitch for the storybook blanket pattern. This is real simple. So you're going to grab your yarn, you're going to grab your tools, and we're going to get started. Alrighty, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to go slow here just to explain to you how I do this, but we're going to take our yarn, and this is the Hue&Me yarn. Everything will be linked down below so you can get direct links to everything, but this is the Hue&Me yarn, and we're going to begin by placing our yarn in our hands, and we're going to have our working yarn on the right side, and we're going to have our tail on the left side. So you're going to take these two things, you're going to pinch them, come in from behind, kind of insert your fingers like this, twist once, go down and grab that working yarn and pull it tight. You'll have a big loop, but we're going to take our hook and we'll pull our working yarn. I can't talk today. Pull our working yarn and pull it tight. So to begin this stitch, it's really simple. You'll find in the pattern PDF that you can purchase down below, there's 6 patterns. I tell you exactly how many to chain in order to achieve. But for now, for this little swatch tutorial, we are going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So on our foundation row, which would be the right side, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So this right here, we do not count as a chain. We're talking about these little humps right here. So the second from the hook would be, here's 1 and here's 2. And we're going to single crochet. So you'll stick your hook underneath that loop, yarn over, draw up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through both of those loops, and you just did a single crochet. So now what we're going to do is chain 1, and we're going to skip this next chain. So right here we're going to skip that because our chain 1 kind of takes that place, and then we're going to single crochet into the next chain. So if you look here, you sort of have these like little windows. Make sure that as you get ready to do the chain 1 that you kind of pull this tight. So we're going to chain 1 again. That chain 1 is going to cause us to skip this next stitch, go into the next stitch, and single crochet. Chain 1 again, skipping that next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. My little balls want to roll up on me. Chain 1, skip that next stitch, and then single crochet into this last stitch. And that is the end of your foundation row. So if you look and see, if I kind of pull the fibers apart, you can see how there's just little windows in between each of those stitches, and that's exactly what we want. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Now some people turn and then chain 1. It doesn't matter. I have just always been in the habit of chaining first before I turn. So if you turn and then chain 1, that's totally fine. So the official row 1, which would be the wrong side, we've chained 1, and we are going to single crochet in that exact same stitch. Now, if you aren't exactly sure where the stitch is, or having the chain 1 there confuses you, this chain 1 does not count as a single crochet. So it's just kind of there to help us get up to the correct height so that everything is sort of even on the ends. So if you look, you're holding your work like this, but if you flip it forward, you can see that the chain 1 is kind of coming out of this little V. So when you picture that V right there and you come back forward, you see, aha, right here is where I need to work. So you insert your hook into that. This would be considered the first chain. and you single crochet right there, okay? Then you're going to single crochet in the next chain 1 space. So here's our chain 1 space. We kind of have a gap. We're going to insert our hook down into that space, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, and pull through just like that. So this is kind of our edging. You're not going to necessarily have a chain 1 space in between those two, and as we work up, you'll kind of understand why that is the case. So we did a single crochet in that chain 1 space. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip over that single crochet that we made, and then we're going to single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skipping over that previous row, single crochet, and then single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1 again, single crochet into that next chain 1 space. And then as we get to the end, we're going to end with a single crochet in the next chain 1 space and then single crochet in the last single crochet. So you'll have 2 single crochets right next to each other. So we did a single crochet right here in that chain 1 space, and then our very last stitch is right there, and we're going to single crochet, we'll chain 1, and we'll turn. Okay, so row 2, real simple. We did a chain 1. We're going to single crochet into that same space as that chain 1. Then we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip that first single crochet that we did, okay? And then we are going to single crochet into the next chain 1. We're going to chain 1 again, skipping that single crochet and going into the next chain 1 space. Chain 1 again, skip that single crochet and go into the next chain 1 space, chain 1 again, skip that single crochet, and then single crochet right there into the top of that last one. So already we can kind of see, you see how you've got your single crochets kind of moving at a diagonal? That's exactly what we want. So the pattern is simply just a repeat of rows 1 and row 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work up just a little bit more, and then I'm going to show you how to add on a new color because it's real simple. And then once we do 2 more rows in the new color, I'm going to show you how you can add an optional border. Now I didn't add a border to mine, and that's totally up to you if you want to add a border, but I will give you an idea of just something you could do, just to give a more finished look to your blanket if that is what you want. So I'm going to work up a couple more rows. It'll just be a split second for you, and then I'm going to show you how to change yarn colors. Okay, so I worked up a couple more rows, and now I'm going to show you what I would do if I wanted to add on a new color, where if you're going to do the storybook blanket, you'll have to do that because you're doing stripes. So what I'll do is I'll take the color that I'm finishing, and I'll kind of leave just a decent, just kind of make an L and hold your finger like that. And leave it long enough so that you can get it nice and woven into your project. I just snip it, and then I'll do a yarn over and just pull it all the way through nice and tight. So I'll go ahead and turn my project as if I was getting ready to start a new row, and I'll have my new yarn color ready to go. This is also a Hue&Me color, which is just absolutely stunning. And so I'll take this out. Taking my hook, I'll insert it into that first stitch of the new row, make myself another little slip knot, hook that onto my hook, draw it up, and then do a chain 1, just like so. We continue working like we were doing. So we did a chain 1, we're going to single crochet right there into that space. We're going to chain 1, skip over that single crochet into the next space, chain 1, skip that single crochet into the next space, chain 1, skipping that one, single crochet into the next space, chain one and skip, and then you'll single crochet into the last one, chain one and turn, and then just repeat. So put a single crochet right there in that first one, a single crochet in your chain one space, chain one, single crochet right there into that next one. So it's really, really simple once you get moving along. You don't have to count, you don't have to think about anything. Really, the only thing that you're counting is how many rows per color you're gonna do. Each size has a specific amount of colors per row, or for however many rows you have to do. So you would just do X amount of rows in this color and then change your colors and do X amount of rows in the next color, and so on and so forth. So really, really simple. So now if I wanted to add a border, let's say, I would chain one and turn, and we're just going to say, I just want to add a simple single crochet border. So we've got this chain one, but we're not going to count that as a stitch. So we're going to just single crochet right there in that corner, and then we're going to single crochet in the stitches. And if you don't know what a stitch is, it's these little V's right here. I always try to explain it to people like that. So when you look at the top, you can kind of see the V's. So we're literally just going to single crochet all the way around our project. And look, guys, there's a hair. Doesn't it always happen that way? I think in just about every tutorial I do, I've got hairs. They're really intertwined in this one. So we're just going to single crochet all the way around our entire project. So if this is a big blanket, I would just settle in, you know, turn on my favorite musical or YouTube creator, and I'd single crochet my way all the way around. Now, one thing I want to point out is whenever you're doing a single crochet border, like if that's what you wanted to do, every time you come to a corner, you always want to put 3 single crochet all into the same space. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And the reason for this is if you look, let me just pull this out a little bit. It helps me curve that corner or round that corner real nice, okay? Now this is where things can get a little wonky, and there is no right or wrong way. It's really just a matter of paying attention. So as we go along the edge, we notice that we don't necessarily have stitches to work into like we do on the top and on the bottom. So basically, you want to focus on spacing. You want to just kind of make sure that you're just creating a natural space for your stitches to go. So we rounded that corner, okay, and to me, my eyeballs go right here to this spot. So I just want to insert my hook right there and work a single crochet, and then this looks like good spacing. This one looks like good spacing. And you just want to kind of go along in the spots where it looks the most natural. So really, really simple. And here we go. We've got another corner, so we want to round that edge. And I'm kind of okay that I'm about to run out of yarn because I'm going to show you how I like to join yarns whenever I'm running out. So we rounded that edge again, and then here at the bottom we've got the natural spots for the stitches, so it's super simple. We're just literally going into the spots. So I'm about to run out of yarn. So let's say, oh my goodness, I'm running out of yarn. I've got to do something about that. Here's how I like to join my yarns. I'm actually going to pull it out. Let's pull out 2 stitches. So I'm going to pull that out. So I'm going to take my 2 yarns, and this is how I would just attach on a new ball. So you've got them kind of like this. You've got one going this way and one going this way. Take this yarn, and don't overcomplicate this. All you're essentially going to do is you're going to tie it onto one side. Okay, just like this, and pull it nice and tight. And then take this one, tie it over here. Just a simple little tie. And I do recommend trying to get these long enough to where you can sew them in. And then watch this. I'm going to pull the blue and I'm going to pull the tan. And we pull it. And voila. And then you just like snip those ends. But what I do is I actually sew them. So I leave them loose like that. And then I sew them into the back of the blanket. So then you're just ready to cruise right on along. So you're just going along with your single crochets. And this, honestly, because this particular blanket is so incredibly texturized, you really, sorry, I'm trying to get those tails out. It's my opinion, but you really don't need a border. But if you absolutely want to add one, I think the single crochet border doesn't take away from the stitch. And this has been called the linen stitch. Some people call it the seed stitch. I learned it as the moss stitch, putting 3 in that corner, remember. And then here we are again on the side that doesn't technically have any stitches, right? And again, you just want to look for those natural spots where it makes the most sense. Just like so. Real simple and easy. And again, we only have one here in this corner spot, so we'll want to make sure that we add 2 more. So here's 1 and 2. And then when we want to join, we literally just slip stitch to the top. Leave yourself a long enough tail. And pull through, and it'll kind of lay over. Now, you see what I mean? Like, let's turn it on this side where there's not quite as many tails. Whenever you look at it, that single crochet border, I don't know. I think it just, I don't know that I would do more than that. But again, that's totally a personal preference. So let's poke these bad boys through just so we can see, get a good feel for what it looks like. We're going to pull it. Well, the tail doesn't want to come through. Alrighty, so let's just pretend that that's all woven in. And there, you get an idea of what it would look like with a nice little finished border. So just like that. Now, ooh, look at that. I'm going to show you how I weave in my ends, and I'll do it with one of these tails. So I have this tapestry hook, and or not hook, but needle, and it's a big one. You want one that has a big eye. Because obviously this is a thicker yarn. So what I try to do is I'm going to take this and I just twist it up just as tight as I can get it. And then I get just enough, like you guys don't know how to feed a needle. Ha! I just twist it in like that. Okay, so here's what I do. I take my needle and I literally just kind of like go in and out, not super far one way or another, just in and out, just enough. And then I hold my finger on the area where I fed it through. And just because I don't want anything to kind of like get wonky and weird, you know, I still kind of want to maintain the integrity of how the stitches look. So I do that. And then I try to come in at a slightly different angle. And then, you know, do the same thing. Put my finger in place, just making sure I'm not messing stuff up. Kind of pulling it, making sure everything still looks normal. And then one more time in just a slightly different direction. Trying to make sure that you're weaving it through the stitches so nothing comes out. There's nothing worse than gifting a blanket to somebody and they call you and go, so I washed it and it came undone. And you're just like, oh, kill me. Oh, it's so embarrassing. So that's one of the ways that we eliminate that problem. So what I do is I pull it just a little tighter and then snip as close to it as I can. And then once everything relaxes, you can't even tell. And then I just do that to all of my tails. So I know I said that I was going to show you how to do the faux ribbing. I already have a video for a different blanket that I did that on. And if you want to check that out, I'll link it down below. But I just love, like, if you're going to add a border, I love the single crochet. So I think I'm going to leave it there. So I hope that you liked today's Friday freebie. If you don't want to miss next week's, I encourage you to head down below, sign up for my email list. You will get it sent to you directly. So next Friday, you will receive the PDF for absolutely free straight to your inbox, and plus all of the other foreshadows of the goodies that are coming. I have a lot of fun just writing those personalized letters to you all. And so, yeah, head below, get all the stuff, buy the PDF with all 6 sizes, and let me know what you think of today's Friday freebie, and tag me on social media and share with me your storybook blanket. All right, friends, I will see you in the next one.